Well, good morning, colleagues, and thanks very much for taking the time to come out today. The second of the 1 hour stoppages, and regrettably, it may not be the last time that we actually have to ask you to take action. All the indications are that the Commission is digging in. The alternative is not an alternative according to them, refusing to listen to what is a rational argument about an alternative to the agenda that they've set out. And I think I need to just actually challenge a couple of myths that are being said. We're being accused of walking away and not engaging in negotiation. That's not true. We held a series of meetings with senior management within the organisation, and what they said to us at the end was that they recognised that we had a contribution to make. They were quite happy to listen to our comments and our input. However, the plan was the plan. The jobs would be cut, that the workforce would be reduced to between 200 to 250 within 12 months by March 2012. It was only how they achieved that. And what we said was that we weren't prepared to sit in on negotiations that effectively engaged the trade union in reducing the workforce and agreeing to compulsory redundancies. And let's be clear as well about what we've been told are unreasonable demands. Unreasonable demands to demand that people aren't sacked by March 2012. That's an unreasonable demand, is it, in 2011? Is that what the big society is supposed to be all about? That we can't even get a guarantee that in 12 months' time, or less than 12 months' time, everybody who currently works for the HRC and still wants to work for them will have the opportunity to do so. And they hide behind the myth that this is a government-sponsored crisis. They don't use the word crisis, of course. They use the word government budgets, government policy. However, how is it that, for example, in the Driving Standard Agency in the Midlands, we've been able to secure exactly that, a no compulsory redundancy agreement up to March 2012 to allow the union to engage in free discussions and free negotiations to look at how that organisation is restructured. There is, of course, a political battle to be fought here, and the National Union is doing that, and you'll be shortly asked, hopefully, to support the National Union in the defence of pensions, jobs, pay and services. But there are also decisions that can be made by the EHRC management that would stop what they're trying to do, that would remove the threat of compulsory redundancies over the head of people, that would remove the threat of our people in the regions being faced with the prospect of not even having an office within the next 12 months, and then perhaps being forced to face redundancy then. We've also demanded that they end the use of consultants. How unreasonable is that as a demand? Consultants who are paid tens of thousands of pounds more than the people that they work with, and yet we're told that the pay scales that are on offer or are available to EHRC staff, they cannot even afford to increase, they cannot afford to pay incremental progression to our members. Yet they can afford to pay tens of thousands of pounds additional money to people who come in as consultants and do the jobs that we know we could do. And that's one of our demands. How is that unreasonable? We said all along, we're prepared to sit down and negotiate with the employer if they are committed to negotiate with a view to reach an agreement, because that's what negotiation is about. Negotiation isn't sitting in a room and having a chat. It isn't about consultation about how we cut jobs. It is about how we restructure the organisation and how we protect your rights. So I don't think any of the demands that we've made and we put in circulars and put out in the press are unreasonable in any way, shape or form. We need to keep our nerve, we need to fight on, because there is no alternative to that. What we are facing is the prospect of, by March 2012, of perhaps over 100 plus people facing the prospect of compulsory redundancy. Because the voluntary redundancy that's just been announced, although initially attracted somewhere in the region of 80 odd, I think, indications of, or applications of interest, has resulted in far less than that. And we will be faced, if they insist on moving to this figure of 200 to 250 people by March 2012, we will be faced with the prospect of compulsory redundancies. And that certainly is a line in the sand that we will not allow them to cross. So let's hope that we can get them to see sense, that they will listen to what we've got to say, because our arguments are reasonable. We're not the unreasonable ones. We've put forward an alternative that we think will work. We want to enter into negotiations on that, but we need them to remove the threat of compulsory redundancy, and if they do that, then there are measures they can take in order to save money, in order to balance the budget, but also to protect the livelihoods of the people who deliver the services that we know are essential in this society, who support the most vulnerable people in our society who are under attack for whatever reason. As the equality body in this country, you have a duty and a right, and I know most of you, I think all of you, are very proud both of the reputation you came with the legacy commissions, of the new legacy that you hope to establish in the HRC. You're proud of the work that you do. We're proud as a union to represent members in the Equality and Human Rights Commission. We see you as a bastion of social justice, but we also see you as workers who deserve to be paid well, who deserve pay protection, who also deserve job security. And unless we can secure that, then we will continue both to campaign publicly, politically, and also industrially in order to protect and deliver what we think are reasonable demands on your behalf. Thank you.